had several settlements in the area, which were quite successful, including Shenango Village. And it's kind of hard to get people to uproot themselves and move to an area which is kind of cut off by a couple of rivers. But in 1800, he had a brilliant idea. He hired me. Now, I heard a rumor that one Lucas Elmendorf was coming down from Kingston to build a bridge over the Shenango River, right where the Court Street Bridge is. It was to be part of the Great Western Highway running all the way to Elmira. Well, I spent a few nights at Keeler Tavern over in the village. Don't look at me like that, madam. I've seen you there many a night. Well, I explained to the locals that this was going to be the commercial center with the highway going through. Well, it wasn't long before people were lining up to buy lots. You know what you could get a lot for back then? 3/4 of an acre downtown lot, $20. A little more if you want a corner lot. I put a number of them myself. Then I convinced Billy to donate some land for a courthouse. Well, once we had established the point, that's what was called back then Shenango Point, as both the commercial and the legislative center of the area, we began to grow. In 2006, we broke away from Tioga and became Broome County. Now, it was named after John Broome. Johnny was a local boy who made a bit of a name for himself in the War for Independency, but I think he got the honor because he was lieutenant governor at the time. Well, we kept on growing. 1817, we became a regular stop on the Stagecoach line. In 23, we got our first newspaper, the Broome County Republican. You may know that as the Sun Bulletin. Well, by 34, we incorporated as a village. The village of Binghamton. Well, people have been calling the point Binghamstown for some time, so I guess they shouldn't have been surprised. Well, see, in 37, we had the Shenango Canal open, at 48, the Erie Railroad, and by 67, we're reincorporating as a city. And after that, well, you're right, man, after my time, and you'd like to know what I'm doing haunting this church, wouldn't you? Well, believe it or not, I actually helped found the church also. We started in 1802. We founded St. Anne's Church. Fortunately, we couldn't actually afford to build a church, and we didn't even have a pastor. There was a minister that rode the circuit, and when he was in town, we met at the courthouse. We weren't ready until about 1822. And then you know what they wanted to do? They wanted to call it the Binghamton Church. Well, a man can only take so much. So I said, look, I will donate the land for the church if we could find another name. So we came up with Christ Church. Now, the first church was just a small wooden structure. We built a larger one later on. But this building was started in 1853. Now, it was designed by Richard Upjohn. Now, Dickey was the foremost church architect in the country at the time. He did this in the Gothic Revival style. It was built by John Stuart Wells, who was a church member, using bluestone from a quarry he had over in Guilford. A little bit of trivia for you. You know how long it took before the church was totally complete? 1903. Not as bad as it sounded, because what the real problem was is the church cost a lot more than we anticipated. So in order to constrain the cost a bit, they left off the steeple. You're right, sir. What's a church without a steeple? Well, in all three, Johnny Wells, I think, starting to think about his place in heaven, said that he would be happy to build the steeple at his own cost and even open up the bluestone quarry. Now, we still had Dickey's plans, so we hired a local architect, Isaac Harry, to oversee the construction. And, I'm going to tell you this, but if you see Isaac later on, you can't pass it on. I looked at the plans. His steeple's 2 feet short.